Hey everybody, it's Kate, the West Coast Paper Crafter from Vancouver Island, Canada. It is February 26th. I had to check my watch and make sure. Yes, Monday, February 26th. And it is Make It Monday. So tonight I'm going to show you how I can, just a quick tutorial on how you can use a piece of 6x6 pattern paper to make 3 quick cards. I saw a demonstrator do that on Facebook, but she wasn't a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I can't remember who it was, but she had taken a 6x6 piece of paper, stamped it, colored in the images, and made 3 cards out of that pattern piece, and I thought it was really clever and quick, and I thought, why not give it a try? I never do quick cards like that, so tonight let's give it a go. So I'm just going to flip my camera around and face the workstation. And just make sure everything is centered. Okay, that looks good to me. I am ready. So before I get started, I'm just going to bring up my Facebook so I can see comments. I've got everything ready to go. So I'm going to use this 6x6 piece of paper. Sorry, I just realized I turned my head away from my phone, so you might not have heard me very well, but this piece of paper is from the Flowering Zinnias Designer Series paper, and that is going to be an online exclusive that will be available March 5th. So lots of bright colors. I chose this piece because I really like all the small little flowers in the Melon Mambo Blackberry Bliss, and then the petals have a little bit of the lemon lime, and I quite like that color. Hey Karen, hey Nancy, hi Cheryl, I see all your comments. Thanks for popping in. So for the 3 cards, I just cut 3 card bases out of basic white. Hi Crystal, thanks for tuning in. 8.5 by 11, and I scored and folded at 4 1/4 on the 8.5 inch side, so 3 of those. And then I also cut out some layers for the inside of the card, and the colored layers are 4 by 5 1/4, and I just cut out the Melon Mambo, Lemon Lime Twist, and the Blackberry Bliss. So each card will have its own color. And then the basic white layer for the inside of the card is 3 3/4 by 5. We'll get to that later. And then I've also cut out 4 strips that are 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I pre-stamped some sentiments, and I just cut out some sentiment layers using the, oh, I can't remember the name of it. It's on the tip of my tongue, perennial postage dies. So those are just ready to go because I don't want to keep you guys too late. It's a school night. And I had a really crappy sleep last night. So I am going to bed early. I think I've been up since 3 in the morning. Anyway, hello Jan. Hi Charlotte. Okay, so on our 6x6 piece of paper, all we're going to do is cut off 1/2 inch. And we'll save that piece to decorate either whatever you want to do, either add it to the envelopes or add it to the inside of the card. I'm going to try to add it to the inside of all 3 cards. We'll see how that works. And then with your remaining piece on the 6 inch side, you're just going to cut 3 strips that are 2 by 5 1/2. Yeah, 2 by 5 1/2, because I just chopped off 1/2 inch from the 6x6, so I'm going to cut 2 by 5 1/2. Just going to make sure I got that measured correctly. All right, so now we've got 3 strips and 1 little extra piece that we're going to use for decorating. So on the first card, I think I will start with the Blackberry Bliss. What I'm going to do is glue this strip to the front of my basic white card base, right in the middle. And then, oh, I'm not going to use Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to use Lemon Lime. Sorry, Lemon Lime Twist, because I cut out 2 of the Lemon Lime Twist strips. And then we're just going to add these little pieces of strips to the top and bottom edge of that pattern paper. And then once we have that on, it's just a matter of decorating it and adding the inside layers. So it's just so easy, which, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I don't usually do easy cards. Yes, Karen, you probably do need these dies, and Crystal, I love them too. I am very much loving them, and I hope that they carry over to the annual catalog. There's a lot of new things in the mini catalog that I hope stick around for a while. Okay, I can see my hands keep slipping down out of the camera view, so my bad. So the reason I had such a bad sleep last night is because we had this wicked windstorm. We had a tree come down and take our power lines out in the middle of the driveway. Hydro was great. They showed up here, I can't remember, it must have been around 8 o'clock at night. It was pitch black, super windy, the trees were swaying, and it was snowing nonetheless. And they were out there fixing the power lines and cutting this big tree up. So I got my power back on, which is great, but now the power pole has got a slight bit of a lean to it. So the wires are hanging a little bit lower than they normally did. And I desperately need a big water truck to come up my driveway on Wednesday so he can fill up my water cisterns. We're on a well out here. I live in a rural community, so we're on a well, but our well dried up. We get water trucked in. Anyway, they're just hanging a little bit low, so I've been in touch with Hydro today, and I've been in touch with the water company, and hopefully there's going to be just enough clearance for that water truck to safely come up my driveway underneath these lower wires. But I guess what the solution will be, if the truck can't, is that we'll just call Hydro back and they'll send out a crew to temporarily raise the lines. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the water truck comes up with no problems, and I don't have to take Kai to the Y for showers or pretend like we're camping in our house while I wait for the power pole to get fixed. So I pre-cut a few of the zinnias from that paper just to decorate the front of the card. So I'll do that. And I'm going to pair this postage stamp die, the Lemon Lime Twist, with just one of my sentiments, and I'll probably pop that up actually. So if you haven't guessed, I'm kind of winging it tonight. I don't really know what I'm doing. Yeah, I know, fingers crossed, right, Karen? Like, I know it's not the end of the world to be without water until the pole gets fixed and everything is all back to normal, but I don't know when they're going to fix the pole. The pole needs to be, it basically ripped the anchor right out of the ground, and the pole has come away from, I guess, the hole where it was sitting. So there's about a 3.5-inch gap where it leans. And Hydro said that they need to relocate the pole, and they have to find a new place for a anchor, and they need to contact people who know what they're doing when it comes to placement and stuff. So yeah, anyway, I guess that is the curse of living rural, and sometimes I really like it and sometimes I curse it, especially in the winter, because some of you already know this, but my husband is never home in the winter. He's always working for 4, 5, 6 month stretches, so he misses all the fun stuff. Okay, so that's there, and I think I'm just going to glue down the flowers, or at least one, and then I'll pop up the other one. So what I love about paper, or the pattern papers that have big images, they're so easy to cut out. And if you don't want to spend a lot of money with your crafting supplies, when you have things like this that you can just quickly fussy cut out, you don't necessarily need to buy the dies. So I find that's a little bit of a money saver for me, because sometimes I have to have a stamp set and I have to have the paper, and then I of course have to add the dies, but then they just collect dust, and I make a few cards and I move on to the next stamp set. So this paper is probably going to be one of those things, because it's so easy to fussy cut, that I just might not buy the dies. Oh shoot, I said I was going to pop that up, and then I got sidetracked with my own chit chat, so it's getting glued down. All right, so here is the front, and I could add maybe a little bit of bling with the purple fine shimmer gems, because I know they have Blackberry Bliss, so I will do that. And one more. I love these purple gems. They are currently out of stock. They should be back in March 11th, so I will have to restock. Now I'm going to just grab one of my basic white layers and my lemon lime twist, and all I'm going to do is matte the white to the lemon lime, and then I'll glue it to the inside of the card. But what I thought I might try to do, just to use up all the paper, is just glue a little bit of my scrap onto the edge of this card, and then I'll trim it. And I'm kind of hoping I'll be able to get away with doing that for all three of the cards, just to add a little pop of color to the inside of the card. I think that's really cute. Yeah, just this little tiny corner. Oh my gosh, I have way too much stuff kicking around everywhere. What a mess. What a mess. That's all right. One card is almost down, and then there'll be a little less in my space. Okay. I am getting better at my placement. I might be ready to graduate to using Stamp and Seal. Crazy. I go through a lot of Tombow, that's for sure. So I went back to work today. Last week I was off sick for most of the week. I worked a little bit from home, but mostly I was off sick. And Kai went back to school because he was sick most of the last week too. And I think it was a tough Monday for both of us. Neither one of us felt super energetic. But then again, I've been up since 3 worrying about whether or not I was going to get water delivery on Wednesday, right? I mean, I'd like to do my own laundry and have a shower. All right, card number 1, done. Pretty cute, pretty quick. Okay, card number 2. So now instead of putting my strip in the middle, I am going to put it at the bottom. And we'll do this one in Blackberry Bliss. And then I'm just going to put the strip right on top of there, decorate it, and that is it. Oh, do you, Crystal? Yeah. Yeah, that's why I like Tombow so much, for the placement, right? Like you have a few seconds to move things around. And I did figure out in one of my lives, we were doing a fun fold, and I was talking about the levels of strength between the tapes, with Stamp and Seal being level 1, Stamp and Seal plus level 2, and Tear and Tape level 3, level 3 being the strongest tape. And as I was talking about this, I glued my fun fold piece down, or I stuck it down with the Tear and Tape, and realized I had put it on backwards. So it was definitely confirmed that tear and tape does adhere the strongest. I was able to salvage it with my the spatula end of my take your pick. So handy when you make mistakes. Anyway, I almost made a mistake because as I was gabbing away, I just about glued that piece of paper right into the middle of the card. I don't think my brain is at full capacity right now. I'm still recuperating from a week-long cold. Yeah, exactly, Crystal. Wiggle room. Wiggle room is important. Okay, so card number 2. This is the basic setup. And now I will do the same thing, and I'm just going to add some flowers. And I'm going to add a sentiment layered onto another piece of the Blackberry Bliss. This time I will pop up my flowers. I'm going to remember. I hope if you guys are crafting along, I'd love to see the cards you end up making. I love seeing the papers that you guys choose when you're crafting along, and everybody's cards are different but beautiful, and I love everybody's creativity. Speaking about creativity, I don't know if any of you guys like Brené Brown, but I've been listening to some of her audiobooks, and she talks a lot about creativity, and I've listened to her books before I got into card making, and I never really paid much attention to what she was saying about that, but I find it really interesting now. Especially, there was one audiobook, I think it's called something about the gifts of imperfect parenting. It's a really short one. Anyway, she was talking about creativity with kids and how it relates to shame, because she's a shame researcher. And she said that the research shows children are super creative, especially in kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, and then somewhere around grade 3 seems to be the marker, they lose it, and they stop creating with, I guess, reckless abandon. So and I thought, oh, that makes a lot of sense, because in grade 3, that's when I really noticed a decline in Kai's artistic creativity. Prior to grade 3, he was bringing home the coolest paintings. Like, he did a cow jumping over the moon, and the cow had 6 legs and 15 udders, and it was yellow with orange polka dots, and I've got it framed in my living room, actually. I love it. But then somewhere around grade 3, he stopped creating, and I always thought it was because of COVID, because that's when COVID hit, and Kai missed out on schooling for a part of that year. Anyway, maybe not the case, because Brené Brown says that kids starting in grade 3, they pay attention to the other kids' artwork, and when their horse doesn't look like another kid's perfectly drawn horse, then they feel a little bit of shame about their own artistic ability, and they hold back. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. So I don't know if any of you noticed that, or if you have kids or noticed a difference in their creativity. I really hope Kai picks that back up again, because I thought he made some of the coolest art when he was a little guy. All right, card 2 is almost done, and we're just going to glue this inside piece on. And I could bling up card 2 with some gems or some twine, but I don't want to use purple again, and I also don't want to step away from my phone and go dig around in my stash for some basic rhinestones, which actually I think would look really pretty on this card. So I might do it after, but I'm not going to take your time and step away and go root around and try to find where my stuff is. So whatever made it to my kitchen table, yes, that's where I craft. That's what I'm crafting with. I've committed. My friend Cindy was over visiting just before the power went out, and she left in the nick of time because I think she left shortly before the tree came down on the power line. So if she hadn't have left when she did, she would have been stuck with me till 9, 10 o'clock at night, which wouldn't have been a terrible thing because we would have played board games and drank tea and chit-chatted about all the things. Anyway, card number 2. I will later add a few basic rhinestone gems, and that is the inside. Now, card number 3. So again, I've got my piece of basic white card base, my last strip, and this one I'm going to glue on the edge of the card right up against that fold, and then same thing, I'm going to put my last strip on the edge, but then once that's glued down, we're going to, well, I'm going to, I don't know if you guys are going to, but I'm going to emboss the front of the card, at least where the white is, with the new embossing folder I just got. So I tried it out last night because I wasn't sure if it was going to work very well, but it worked just fine, and I thought it added a nice touch to this last card. Have any of you made like batch made cards just by cutting up a piece of designer series paper? This is literally the first time I've ever done that. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of batch making cards, but I suppose if you're in a pinch to get some cards done, it's kind of fun. But I am a fan of using up all my designer series paper because I got a lot of it. Okay, so I'm just going to move the stuff out of my way and grab my cut and emboss machine. And my plates. And the folders. So I grabbed these new embossing folders. They're called Fun Patterns. They're also an online exclusive that are going to come out March 5th. So they've got 2 designs. I don't know. Oh, sorry, I'm not even in the camera. Oh my God. All right, so design number 1. And then design number 2. So we've got diamonds. We've got flowers. I am going to try out the diamonds because I did the flowers last night. So, Nancy, you do the stack, cut, and shuffle? I didn't even know that's what it was called. All right, I'm learning something new. Okay, so what's handy with these small folders is I learned yesterday when I was playing around with this that it's really easy to partially emboss the front of my card. So all I'm doing, I don't know if you can see with my big meat hooks in the way, but I've just lined up the card right at the base of this strip into the embossing folder. And I'm going to run it through. Now I don't normally run my embossing folders through this way. I like to put them in fold first. I have heard that it's hard on your embossing folders when you run them through any other way but fold first. So I won't do this a lot, but I'm going to do it today. I'm risking it out. Holy smokes, that sounds like it's a brand new machine snapping like that. Trust me, it's not. Let me get this out of the way. Okay, so if you can see that, it just embossed right along the edge of that pink. So that I like. And you know, funny enough, these smaller embossing folders, I always thought I didn't love them because I want to go big. But with these little ones, they're really easy to just emboss a piece of your card instead of cutting a bunch of layers. So all in. Charlotte, you batch cards at Christmas? Yes, that makes sense. That's a good time to batch cards. What did I do with my dimensionals? Oh, there we go. Well, I have to disclose something very shameful, speaking about Brene Brown, and being that she studies her research is shame. I hold a bunch of classes at Christmas time, and I design a ton of Christmas cards. And guess how many Christmas cards I sent out this Christmas? One. I sent out one Christmas card with all the cards that I designed for card classes and office events and things like that. I sent out one Christmas card to my parents. I think I even had a Christmas card set aside for my in-laws, but they came to visit, and for some reason I totally forgot about it, and I didn't give it to them. So most of the Christmas cards I had laying around went down to the little community store in my community. It's called the East Souk store, general store maybe. Anyway, they have a ginormous Sasquatch made out of driftwood. You can't miss it if you've been there. And that's where most of my cards go, but yeah, I didn't mail any. All right, so this one, I don't think I want the leaves, so I'm getting rid of the leaves. And I'm just gonna tuck these flowers in behind the sentiment, and I'll glue them down. I'd like to keep that embossed piece kind of my focal point, so I don't want to take away too much with these leaves sticking up. There. Okay. Well, I might not have room to put that one there. That's okay. It's gonna go, yeah. Now, if I ever take the time to listen back to myself on a live, I will probably feel some shame because I'm extremely indecisive about what I'm doing tonight, so I'm sorry. I'm winging it. Okay. Yes, I'm gluing it down. And then the last thing I'm going to do is finish up the inside piece, and we'll be done. Okay, I like that. I think that turned out really well. Now my last piece of white, and I've got, I might have enough to do 2 little strips on this one. Let's see. I could have actually cut that 1/2 inch strip in half into a 1/4, and then it would have lasted. I could have made it stretch for all the cards next time. Does anybody do this? Like glue paper to the inside of your card instead of stamping it? It was something I was doing when I first started out making cards. I've only been making cards for just over 2 years. I'm sure you can all agree with me, it's a very addictive crafting hobby. If only I would remember to mail out all my cards. Sometimes Jan, sometimes Charlotte. Yeah, I'm a sometimes too. But this zinnia paper is really pretty. I like it. Okay. There's just a couple more days of celebration. I am holding back. I do not need any more celebration items. But it's tempting. It's tempting. I was thinking about the botanical layers that they added at the start of the month, but when I was online today, it looks like those are already out of stock. So that might be my sign that I do not need to add to cart just to get another freebie, right? Because I've been doing that all January and most of this month already, so my credit card will thank me if I just leave it alone for a while. Jan, you're using the delightful floral paper. Why can't I picture that? I can't see it. You'll have to post pictures of your cards when you're done. Well, thank you, Marianne. I'm glad you like the idea of the paper on the corners. I've done that too with just strips of different colored cardstock as well. But in my case, because I'm a tombower, I do definitely get gluey fingers when I'm gluing a little bit of strips to the inside layers of the card. All right. Card number 3. I maybe could use a little bit of bling. I'll have to go through all my embellishments and take a look to see what's going to match with my melon mambo. So we'll see. There might be a little more bling added later today. And there's the inside. So that is it. We started with card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3. If you have a favorite, let me know. And I think that's it. I'm going to flip my camera around. Anyway, thank you for tuning in with me this Monday evening. I am going to call it a night and get to bed early. Kai's not going to like that very much because he likes to stay up as late as possible, but I'm making the rules. So have a good night, everybody, and thanks again for tuning in. Post your cards in the comments. I'd love to see what you make. I'll talk to you soon.